Hey guys, um, I would like to. I'm not really someone that like to talk so much about politics, but the last United Nations meeting in America, it kind of bring me a lot of some painful things that our leaders in Africa do, begging for validation, self-validation in Africa, the richest continent, the youngest continents as well. Not the youngest, but we have more youth in Africa than any other place in the planet. It's been since the creation of the United Nations. We have always been looking for validation from other people, begging them for validation over the years, from the past and present president of Africa in general. Every leader always trying to look for somebody to blame or looking for validations all the time. We have more than 1 billion people live in Africa, world youngest population. We are the richest continent. Without Africa and its resources, every continent in this planet is nothing. We provide pretty much everything. What do we get back as Africans? Why do we always trying to look for people to blame for our problem? I'm going to give you one quick example today. It will be very, very important to look at it. These people, their struggle and our struggle, pretty much, we start at the same time. Take a look at China, the world fastest economy, the second biggest economy in the world. Take a look at it. 70 years ago, 60 years ago, 50 years ago, China was as poor as Africa. The resources that we have, they did not even have then. Most African country independent is more than 60 years. Most African country independence. Most of them are 60 to 70 years between. What have we get? What have we given back to our people? What are our politicians doing? If you take a look at China, like I mentioned earlier, most of Chinese government that was there back then, they have a similar story in terms of colonization, in terms of how they were disadvantaged by slave masters during those times. But what did China do? If you take a look at it, China did not invest all the resources trying to get somebody else validation. I live in Australia, the land down under. In Australia, if you take a look at our universities in Australia, particularly, you think you are in Asia, meaning that very high percentage of the populations. Yes, we are in Asia by locations, I would say, let me mention that. But Australia being continent itself. Anyway, that's not the point that I'm making. The point that I'm making, if you take a look at our university classrooms, you will see at least 20 to 30% of the university students that you are in class with, they are Asians, particularly Chinese from China. They came to Australia, acquire education, go back and use those systems in their governments. They had a plan. They projected their gold. They did not wait for any man to come and tell them where and how they should live their life. What is their next move? And neither they ask for any Western country for their validation. That includes America, any other Western country. They did not ask for their validation. Today, what did China do? They invest into their own populations, do all they can to support their economy, their growth. China open up its market to every country. China use their population's advantage all over. China make the war factory. They turn their country to the war factory. They use every single advantage they have to achieve where they are today. Every single superpower in this world are afraid of China. China can threat them economically. That includes even USA compared to the other small European country. Without China, they can't survive. And without China, they can't survive. Without them, China can't survive either. So why we the African or African continents can't do the same? We have oil, we have gold, we have diamond, we have fertilizers, but yet we are still searching day in, day out for validation. Asking people, take a look at the continent today. We are pushing our slave masters away, thinking that the new ones that are coming that will better our life. We refuse to invest into our own population. Instead of us getting rid of the Western system that they bring to our country, our system, the Western way of life that was bringing to our African society, that actually contradict African way of life. Instead of working on our own, we are always copying others, which does not fit well in our society. Take a look at China, if you have ever been there before. Internet have made things very, very easy. I know there will be so many criticism about how they live their life. But hey, take a look at it. China produce more young billionaire than any other place in the planet. Why? What system they design for their people is working for them. Nobody else have to validate that. Nobody just have to say it is what it is or it is not what it is. That's the fact. China produce more billionaires today than any other place. They make the other people, other nations respect them for what they have to offer in the table. In Africa, our resources being carried away. It's not even processing in Africa itself. We are going outside elsewhere looking for Western people to come and have a security deal or to come and secure Africa. Africans are the problem of Africa. We are the one that can fix African problem. No Western country can. They will just come and exploit Africa just like the way every single slave master did back in the days. It's very, very important. We as African, our development, our progress, our survival, our society, we take responsibility of that. No one else. Western country will always make their people, their country better developed, better roads. Some African country, there have been trillions of dollars extracted from those countries. They don't even have electricity. They don't even have a water, safe water to drink. Who do you blame for that? Have you ever seen any Western country taking their resources to Africa for development? They take our resources to their country, employ their nations, employ their citizens, and come back the finished product and sell us with a higher price. We don't even get much by the raw material extracted from Africa. But when we buy, we pay more than ever because we don't make anything. Instead of focusing on quick cash, we don't focus on productivity. Let us stop blaming people. What has happened has happened. It's time for Africa to shine, especially those crook leadership, those people those puppets that were sent by the West to come and destroy Africa to remain where it is. Let me tell you, there is certain things that were designed to suppress Africa until the end of this world. So do China. Same thing happened to China. But what do? They don't talk too much. As you may know, Chinese, they don't talk too much. They focus on result. Africa needs to focus on result. Not talking about who's going to come and do this, begging United Nations. Look at over 1 billion people begging for validation, asking for their representative to be Africa to be represented, even one single seat. Some African countries are closer to the American population. Some African countries are closer to, if you take a look at Africa, have more population than America and Russia combined together. But they decide for the world. Why? We need to wake up, stop blaming others for our own problem, believe in Africa can do without anybody. Take a look at Russia, the little resources they provide, the gas. They are now holding the whole world hostage simply because they wanted to do something different and the whole world is against that. So what happened? Fuel price has gone skyrocket in every place, every country in the world. They use the resources, gas they have, to predict what happens. Once more again, I'm not supporting Russia in any shape and form, but I'm telling you what they are doing. They hold the whole world hostage. Fuel price. Westerners refuse to buy fuel from them, and they are benefiting from it. I know some economic sanctions will probably going to cripple them, but yet the oil price is going skyrocket. Africa can use the same. I remember last year, 2021, when Guinea-Conakry in Africa had a military coup and removed the democratic president that was there. What happened? Within days, the aluminium market price, the aluminium went up skyrocket in the world because of the production of one country got shut down for a few days. Aluminium went skyrocket. We can use what we have to determine our own future. And that's just Guinea alone. That happened. That's a typical example that I can give you. A coup d'etat that happened in Guinea changed the aluminium market. Aluminium price went up really high because Guineans stopped the productions at that period. Those are the things we can use to own our own advantage. We cannot expect other people to respect us if we don't respect ourselves. Self-respect comes first. You set value, you set standard for yourself, and other people follow through that. So we need to stop telling people to respect us when we don't respect ourselves. This is strictly dedicated to our African leadership, our African leaders, people that are in charge of people, Africa in general. And we need to understand ourselves. The world that we live in today, you have to earn respect. You can't get respect if you don't give it back. Or if you don't earn it, you can't get the respect. Typical example, If you are from a big family, in your family, you are the older brother. You don't respect your sibling. You don't respect anyone else. But you expect everyone else to respect you. Guess what will happen? Your respect will not be sustainable. Your sibling, younger sibling give you respect for you to give them back respect. If you don't give them respect, certain time will come, they will be disrespecting you. That's a hard reality. Same apply to Africa. We have to earn it. Be responsible for our own respect. Be responsible for African development. Invest in Africa. Invest in Africans. Invest in your citizens. Do what you can do to change. Nobody else. Remember, every single person that comes to your country and invest in, if they spend $1, they are taking 1 million back from Africa. They are taking 1 million back from people that need it the most. If you take a look at your own pocket, that is what we need to look at. Not blaming people for our problem. We are the problem ourselves. Once we solve our own problem, nobody else. People will be seeking for our validation. We don't seek from them, they will be seeking from us. And they will be consulting us all the time. We don't get consulted over 1 billion population. We don't get consulted of anything that affected us as Africa. If we put that respect forward and make things happen like the way it should be, we can boycott all the international organizations and they will come back in on the negotiation table. But begging, we offer nothing, we get nothing back, regardless of it. So that is what the little things advice that I have. Being African, born Africa, I'm proud of being African as well. So Africa need to unite and work together and make them respect them. Don't expect them to respect you if you don't respect yourself. I'll stop it there. Thank you.